his fight, his rematch actually, with Liam Smith was announced earlier on today. So let's find out exactly how difficult or easy a decision that was and speak a lot more about the world of boxing with Chris Eubank Jr. Joins us live on Drive. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Thanks so much for coming on. I'll start with that question because, of course, we knew there was a rematch clause the last time you fought and obviously lost. And there were question marks as to whether or not you would trigger that clause, but you have done. Was it an easy decision or one that was quite tough to make?
Absolutely, it was an easy decision. This man has a win over me, which I don't think he deserves. I think I'm a better fighter, and I have to now go out there and prove that. Talk is cheap. So yeah, June 17th, we got to go out there and we've got to even the score. We've got to set things right.
Chris, what happened? I mean, listen, I didn't see that outcome coming. The finish from Liam Smith. What exactly happened in that fight for that outcome to happen?
What happened? He caught me with an illegal blow. It was a beautiful shot. And then he followed that up with a great combination. And, you know, that's what happens in the fight game. You know, you get caught. Things don't go your way sometimes. I got up immediately, which may not have been the best thing to do, but I've never been down before in a fight, so I didn't really know how to react to it. Got up, you know, we threw a few more shots and we both fell over again. Got back up immediately again, you know, ready to go, ready to try and overcome this tough spot in the fight. And the referee waved it off. It was devastating because I felt like I could have continued. I felt like I was just kind of starting to get my senses back. And then all of a sudden the fight's over. I knew the fight was, I couldn't overturn the referee's decision, but I knew that I had to go over there to him, look him in the eyes, and let him know, listen, you may have got this win, but I'm still here. I'm still ready to go because I knew I was going to fight him again. You know, I couldn't have him thinking that he just, you know, he took me out and I couldn't have gone on. I absolutely could have gone on, but again, you have to respect the referee's decision. He stopped the fight, so now we're having the rematch.
Chris, you spoke about the illegal blow. Are you talking about the elbow? And do you think that was a massive part as why you lost the fight?
The reason I lost the fight is because I didn't respect the number one rule in boxing, which is protect yourself at all times. That's why the fight was lost. You know, yes, he caught me with an illegal blow, but it's a fight. He's got to do whatever he needs to do to win. And I have to be responsible enough to not let him do that. And I wasn't in that fourth round.
Chris, it's a big fight for you. If you lose it, what happens next? Would you think about retiring?
Yeah, I don't go into that conversation, that thought process. If you lose, are you getting too old? Will you retire? I don't entertain any of that. It doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, well, let me rephrase it then. Do you feel under more pressure than perhaps the first time you two met, bearing in mind you've already lost one fight?
Absolutely, there's more pressure. This man has a win over me. And I know I'm the better fighter. But again, talk is cheap. I can't just say it. I have to go out there and show it. I believe I was showing it for the first 3 rounds. I believe I dominated those 3 rounds. And then, you know, a short period of complacency, and all of a sudden the tide's turned. I will never make that mistake again, that's for sure.
What will you do differently in this second fight, Chris, that maybe you didn't do in the first fight?
I will give him 0 opportunity to land the blows that he landed in that 4th round. Was I maybe a little bit too relaxed? You know, I had a very good 3rd round. I hit him with about 6 or 7 uppercuts.
Yeah.
I knew I was warming up nicely. I knew I had him where I wanted him. And that may have been my downfall. Maybe I let my guard down for that split second. And fair play to him, he capitalized on that moment of distraction and he did what he did. Again, that will never happen again.
Chris, this fight has been confirmed for June the 17th this year. If that fight hadn't have been made, how close were you to fighting Conor Benn this time round?
That fight will always be there to be made. Yes, I was in talks about it. Yes, I was entertaining it, but it came to a point where I understood that I needed to avenge this defeat first before moving forward with any other opponents. There's also a lot of politics with that fight that I decided I didn't want to have to deal with. And this fight is, yeah, it just made the most sense for right now. I have to avenge it.
Was there an offer on the table to fight Conor Benn?
A huge offer, yes.
And would that fight have been in this country?
No.
It wouldn't. So bearing in mind he's still yet to prove his innocence, you would have been happy taking that fight?
Well, I'm not taking the fight, so obviously I wasn't happy with it, was I?
Okay, so that's my question. Is the reason you didn't take the fight because he hasn't proved it yet?
There are many reasons why I chose not to take that fight at this particular moment in time.
Okay, so what's your view? There's talk of Conor Benn possibly fighting in the Middle East against Manny Pacquiao. What's your view on that scenario happening? Do you think he should be allowed to fight anywhere?
Do I think he should be? Listen, boxing's a business. When there's money to be made, people are going to find ways to get around the rules. We've seen it time and time again. In my opinion, I think he needs to clear his name and he needs to get his British boxing license back so that when we fight, we can fight in Britain. That's where that fight belongs, not abroad. But if he doesn't do that, then, you know, obviously you have to go with the second best option. You know, that fight has to happen at some point. But obviously I would much prefer it to be here. And I would much prefer it to be with him having cleared his name, as he claims he can do or is doing. It's an interesting situation, man. But you know, I'm not waiting around for anybody. I have a lot of energy, a lot of juice left, and there's a lot of great names out there for me to fight. So I'm not kind of, you know, I'm not waiting on Conor Benn to figure his stuff out. You know, I've got a lot of things that going on for me, and that's why we're having this great rematch in June.
Have you spoke to Conor, Chris?
Have I spoken to him? Yeah.
And what did he say? What happened? What did he say? Did he apologize? Like, what was said?
Yeah, we're not going to go into all that right now. Maybe another time.
Okay, well, back to you, and obviously you're fighting again, the rematch against Liam Smith in Manchester. Now, last time it was a lot of Liverpool fans in there, and obviously people from Liverpool, and it made it quite intimidating. Did that intimidate you at all, or was it important that the fight was back there so you can set the record straight?
It doesn't matter what the fight is. That makes no difference to me. Was it intimidating? You know, I've been doing this for years, man. I've been walking into people's backyards, getting booed into arenas for years. So that the intimidation of that is not, no, it's not intimidating. It's part of what I do. Would I prefer it to be in a, you know, in a neutral area or a, you know, in an area where all my fans are? Sure. But it's not something that's going to affect how I fight. It does affect some fighters. You know, some guys can't perform unless they have a crowd behind them. For me, whether they hate me or they love me, I'm going to do what I need to do. June 17th, I don't know how the crowd's going to be. It probably will be another pro-Smith crowd, and that's okay. All that matters is that I go in there and I do what I need to do to win. You know, I know I'm a better fighter than him, but I have to go out there and prove it.
Chris, before I let you go, just curious, I want to ask you something that was said at your press conference after that fight. There were question marks as to whether or not your corner were going to throw the towel in. You said that they were not going to throw the towel in, and that in the future, towels are going to be banned from your corner completely. You said at the press conference, I've personally instructed Roy Jones Jr. to never bring a towel again. I'm guessing that's tongue-in-cheek, or did you mean it?
Do I look like a tongue-in-cheek guy to you? This is my...
I'm going to say no, because I'm quite scared of you now, if I'm honest.
This is my life. This is what I do. If I'm getting hurt, if I'm in a position where things aren't going my way, I'm not having another man throw in a white towel to stop a fight to try and save me.
Isn't that his job to protect you?
It's my job to protect me.
Okay.
I'm not going to have somebody else. The only person, in my opinion, that can stop a fight or should stop a fight is the referee. Do I agree with his stoppage? No. Do I respect it? Yes. You know, I've never had this conversation with Roy about towels being thrown in because it's never even crossed our minds that that's something that was ever going to happen. But, you know, now I will have that conversation with him. You know, do not bring a towel anywhere near my corner. If you see sweat running off of the top of my head, wipe it off with your hand.
Okay. Rather him than me. Chris Eubank Jr., it's a real pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it'll be an absolute corker. Again, thanks so much, pal. Have a good afternoon.
Luck. Okay, guys. Thanks.
There you go, Chris Eubank Jr., who will be fighting Liam Smith again, as you said, on June the 17th, 2023, with, of course, no towels. That'd be interesting. As will the next 2 hours.
I wonder if a flannel counts.
They're all going to be in short sleeves, aren't they, for that one?
TalkSport Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. TalkSport.